Hello, welcome back. It's not a sales video. This is more of a how I decide which books to call when I do a calling. Generally, it's every 2 months. I will, at the end of the month or the last day of the monthly sale, but every 2 months, I'll go and I'll look at least for books wise. This is where 95% of my books are. How I decide which ones. They have to be at least or close to 6 months old for books or any time when I do a media calling. At least 6 months old by how long they've been listed. And because when I do a sell similar, the criterion for that is they have to be up for 3 months, have at least 3 views. 90% of the time I do that. Sometimes it'll be less than 3 months if I just need a few more so I can get 25 up for the day or whichever. But generally always 3 months, 3 views. I click on the view amount, and if it reads 4, 5, or 6, if it reads 4 and it's been up for 7 months, it's going to come down, it's going to get repriced a little. So I make all those little decisions as I'm doing that. If the book, for this specific instance, if the book has 2 views, 3 total over 7 months, 8 months, 10 months, whichever, it comes down. Most of the time, I'm not going to have stuff that's going to be up for over a year just because of the system on how I take stuff down, reprice. If it doesn't get taken down, means it didn't have enough views, means it doesn't have enough interest in it, or the price is too high and people just never look at it. So when I decide to take down 50, like I did today, 70, so I had 100 up, and the bottom 30 were all 4 months, 20 days, 5 months, not quite at that 6 month range. So 70, there were a couple, there were like 4 or 5 that were 5 months, 28 days, or whichever. So that's just books. There's a total of 30 that did not get relisted. And most of those come from the lower dollar books. So how I decide which ones are going to be completely coming down, especially if they're bigger books, as far as I can remember, or if there's just not a lot of sale history through Terapeak on them. If there's 3 or 4 and they're all around $30, I'll keep it. If there's 5 or 6 and they're right around $10, and it's a book like this or whatever the scenario may be, I'm just not gonna. And then I've been using date timestamps since May of 2023. So if a book does not have a date timestamp anywhere in the pictures, I know that it's pushing over 2 years. So then I want to look and really see on how many there are on Terapeak, if any have sold or whichever. So a good majority of the ones that are coming down, well, there's 30 that are coming down or being taken from the boxes. There's a couple elsewhere. 7, 8, maybe 9 don't have a date timestamp. So well over 2 years, I did another and then another, and I would do a calling every, I would do repricing how I'm describing in this video wise that I do every couple of months. And they just managed to have enough to where I would reprice them a little less. And if that's happening at least twice a year, if not 3 times a year, if I have anything that's doesn't have a date stamp on it, that's pushing 2 years old, pushing 3 years old, yeah, it's time for that to go, especially if it's only like me making $3. That I prefer to just see it go than just not even have it. And so on a complete connected to that, but not quite, there are a lot of those people that say, hey, all it takes is that one person to come by and you'll sell it and then you'll be like, oh well, it was that you missed making that $4. I'm not one of those people, especially with media and how fast it sells. And I'm not worried about $4. Now, if it was a $40 sale, as I explained with the example of the $30, that's a different story. But I'm not going to wait around for $4. Granted, I do get things one way or another that are I'm only going to make $1 or $2 on. But for the vast majority, I buy those knowing that they're going to have a higher, real fast rotation. I don't have to wait 2 years to make $2 on something. I prefer to just get it gone, either sold or in the dumpster. In books, I give quite a bit of time and leeway. And not all books that I get, I pay for. I picked up some free, I live in an apartment complex. So there's 4 dumpsters. Every once in a while, I'll find books in the trash, and I'll just pick them up and be like, well, I got it free. Do a tear peek. Oh, it stands a chance to sell. So now we're going to get into the books that are going to be coming down. So for some reason, my tablet is charging very, very slowly. So yesterday, in a video, I said that the tablet was going to need charged, and it did. It was in single digits. So I put my charger brick, connected it to, I got 3 charger bricks, connected it to this, and from then until now, unless the cats jumped up on where the DVDs are. Not, that could be it. But there were 7 sales that went out today for $170. There was one international, so it was like $150. So it wasn't anything to write home about, that's for darn sure. But now, I go on the tablet. So when I took all those books down, completely took them down, and they're in the unsold or delisted or whatever category or whatever the word is, they're in that, and I just have that bookmark because I use it all the time. So when I take the books down and I go in and I go to sell similar because I wanted to generate a new number, new information, a lot of times I'll go in and I'll just crop the picture a little bit, especially on some of these ones. I don't do it to all of them because some of them, the pictures are already cropped, at least the thumbnail picture, crop it down a bit. So if it does get repriced and it does get listed, that takes it out of a draft and it's no longer a draft. If you go in and you hit sell similar, and I'm deciding, because I'm copy pasting, looking at what's currently listed, tear peek, all that, and currently deciding, and I ultimately decide not to list it, not to price it or anything. I don't do anything at all, and I just go back to the unsold bookmark, and that saves that book that I was just contemplating on relisting, but decided not to. That saves it in a draft. So then I go in on the tablet, on the internet, on the website, eBay website. I go into drafts. All right, so I have these drafts, and there's 30 of them that I need to, and most of them are going to have a skew, which is going to correlate. I saw B11, so that would be right here, likely. Wow. It is right there. So I go in, B11, it's called The Best of Sean Patrick. It's a real skinny book. So this right here, it's gone. I mean, its listing price was only like $10. Any of them that have sold of the more recent, especially for something like this, was selling for $7, $8. And there's only a couple, like 3 that have sold in 3 years through Terapeak. So definitely one I'm not keeping. If it was signed, maybe, but there's a handful of signed books that I have in here too that are going to find the dumpster. And I have 2 of these coming down. So they were listed at $13.50. Only one is sold. I have bought quite a bit. There's a couple sales videos and sourcing videos that have some Elvis books in it. One wasn't too long ago, maybe a month ago. So it wasn't the last time I was in Streetsboro. It was the time before that is when I got an Elvis book that sourced videos. So that would have been not this past Monday, 5 weeks prior. But and then there was another. There's been a few. There's like Elvis and Sunshine, something along those lines. It was a limited edition. Mine was not numbered, but it had the spot to put the numbering. So it was a pre-numbering numbered book. So I am not going to do this for every single book for the video wise. This is a uncorrected proof, advanced reader's copy. Some of these can be really, really good. There was, I don't remember the book or the author, but it was, I don't remember now. But it was an uncorrected proof, and that's what kind of got me into looking at them. They really don't sell well unless it's something that's bigger. Damn, I forget what that was. It was like $80, and it sold pretty fast for the price. And I used Terapeak and all that other stuff to figure out pricing. It sold pretty fast, but that's trash. This one here, Marcel Probst. This is one that did not have a date stamp, so it's been around for a while. Again, $13. How I do pull and call. So in 2 more months, so it's now end of February, so end of April, when I do that again, I'll go at it again, primarily with books, and then I'll run a higher percent off tier. So the tiers of my listings, depending on how many items I have, my tiers, my listings will go up probably 3 more tiers, 4 more tiers. So that's 6 to 8% more off than of what everything is currently listed at, for the most part. Depends on where they fall in the tiers, depends on how many items I have. I'll run a larger tier to try to have the listed items cheaper, to have a little more enticing. I'll limit my accepting offers and counter offers quite a bit, depending, but still I do it. It pushes stuff out. And I'll do that. Then I'll do that after Christmas, the sale after Christmas, going into the new year, and that helps to push a lot of the inventory out by just running those higher off sales. Now, it's not a whole lot more less due to it only being 5, 6, 8% off. But that's why I do the pricing I do. That's why I run the sales that I do, the tiers and the brackets. Anything, if it's going to be priced a little differently through a sale bracket, it's only going to be by a couple percent. And that couple percent does add up when, it's 10,000 in sales a month, but it's pushing stuff out. And that goes with the inventory management. So books that are sitting around isn't going to do me any good. I'm not going to keep stuff that just doesn't want to sell. Books can add up real fast and they hoard up real fast. If I had a lot more room, maybe I'd still keep on some, but my tactics that I have in order to keep inventory at a good quantity, anything over 2,000 in inventory is good for a smaller. I would say a mid-sized full-time reseller is going to have 3,000 to 5,000. I'm going to say full-time doing well is 2,000, 3,000. That's completely arbitrary. We all look through different windows. Jerry Garcia. We all see things differently. We all do things a little differently. I don't have the room or the patience. If I was scaled up 5 times, things would be different. But right now, I'm just kind of going off on tangent. I still have a lot of other work to do. This video is going to get chopped and and edited and all that other fun stuff. So I'll show you what is left and kind of go from there. Well, here is the books and this one. The stuff that was taken from the boxes, and there were this one and this one were taken from the shelving unit. It's different than the one I have all my other books in. So cumulatively, it's about 3 boxes worth of book space. So now there's some of these that are out, like this Old World Almanac, 1963. Some of these are a little thicker books, and if I have a handful of paperbacks, right, I can get 3 paperbacks, and I don't know if it is. So right here and there, those are books that I've listed that need to be put away, so it makes it easier to go through, put the smaller, lighter books on the shelves that have the pins, so it's less weight on there, put the heavier ones up top and on the bottom shelf, and do that. And I have a whole other bigger box of probably about another 20 plus listings of books that need to go up. But these ones here, yeah, there's a handful that I will scan, see if declutter takes. If not, I just throw them out. If I had them up on eBay, the eBay's been around for almost 30 years. People know if they want a book, they can go to eBay, they can go to some of the other sites. And if they didn't sell on eBay for upwards of darn near a year, if not longer, it doesn't have enough interest for me to keep it up there, or it's not rare enough and the value of the book is only 10, 15, 20, 25 bucks. None of these are $40 or more at all. If they were, they'd still be up. Or they would have enough interest to where they would have already sold at 40 or less. Now this one here, the Sequoia book, is interesting because it's signed by the governor, David Walters, the mayor, I want to say this guy, Ronald Nietzsche or Nico or something, and then the author. It's about the Sequoia people. You think, man, that's a very, very interesting book. It's signed by the governor, the mayor, and the author. That's got to be worth a lot. I've had this for over 2 years. They only sell non-signed for like $8-10. Signed, nobody wants a signature of the state governor of wherever this is. But that was a cool story behind that one. So these get put in the mail bin that has the handles, and I'll go walk them right out to the dumpster and bring the bin back. That's that. So it's again another one of those videos that's, although it's kind of convoluted on what I'm talking in the direction where I'm going for instruction, my main thing is that if it's listed for 3 months and if it has 3 views or more, I click on it. If it has 4 or 5, whatever I decide, if it has enough views for it to come down and get repriced, if it just never comes down, if it's been listed for 6 months or more, once every couple months, I will do an inventory calling, and it's primarily almost always books. Disc media just rotates so quickly. And with disc media, it's easier for me to just take a whole bunch down at one time and take it up to the exchange and sell to declutter than it is for me to do that every couple months. It's easier for the exchange for me to go in there and then go through a bunch of stuff, and I get $30 from them. It's easier for me to do that a couple times a year than it is for me to just do that every few months by taking a bunch of stuff down, so on and so forth. But if you like what you heard, like what you saw, feel free to comment. Thummy thingy going upward. Give me the up finger. Not the other one. That one. Subscribe, share. Those are all free. Helps everybody out. I hope so. Well, at least helps me out. I know that. Appreciate it. Thank you.